All right, hi, it's day eight. It's day eight, and boy, wow, how has it been for you from the beginning? I don't want you to just go through this and listen because you have to. I really want it to be a means of us to connect and for you to grow and literally see differently the very things that God has called you and is calling you in this season. I don't want you to get carried away by the flamboyance of things around you, but I want you to be specific and intentional about your journey and your growth process, really. I want you to see as God sees. I want you to build as God is building. And I want you to be empowered for more so that you will not lose sight of the fullness of the things that God is bringing you into in this season. All right, so today I want to talk to you about my needs are met, and talking about kind of faith for finances. Many times we have financial needs, and I'm sure some of us, if I ask us right now, will tell me that, oh, I have financial needs. I have financial needs. I have financial needs, and I don't know how the money is going to come. And to a certain extent, for some of us, it may just be um, meeting a temporary need now so that we can be taken care of and we can be helped. For others, it may just be that we are just overwhelmed by the pressures. And I wanted to find the right word in that moment. We can be so overwhelmed by the pressures that we begin to grasp for straws. We begin to try to do everything and be everywhere and not actually see what God wants us to do, and how that He wants to shift our paradigms from believing to our needs being met, or for our needs being met, to believing for our nation's need to be met through us. Not just that we are being blessed, but we are now being blessed to be a blessing. As a coach, I see people that are consistently believing God that for finances to take courses or to be in certain rooms, and it seems like it's so far away, so far fetched. Is it that God answers some people or He doesn't answer some people? um for us to have faith for finances, there's certain things we have to do. Number one, change your mindset. Many of us are so conscious of the need for supply than we are conscious of the abundance for supply. The right mindset will help us to strengthen our faith. So I'm not thinking about how much I'm lacking, I'm focused on how much I have. I'm so focused on the super abundance of God, the ability of God to take care of my needs, the ability of God to take care of me, the ability of God to open doors for me, the ability of God to allow me access into spaces and places that will actually grant me the speed to thrive, the speed to become, the speed to access the very things that He has for me. And so we're stepping out from scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. Um, from a thousandaire mindset to a billionaire mindset. You know, even your mindset affects what people give to you. I remember when the most people would give me was 5,000. No matter what I did, no matter how much impact I made, like 5,000 was the greatest seed I would ever receive from anyone. And then I remember that as my mindset began to upgrade and my possibilities began to shift, I realized that the monies that people also gave me, the ways that people paid for my courses also changed, because now people would pay 100,000, 50,000 for my courses. People would sow seeds to me in 5 zeros, 6 zeros, and all of that. It changed in that moment. I could now begin to pursue projects in millions and billions. It didn't scare me anymore. And so that's what I want to invite you into today. I'm not That's what I want you to come into today, really. And that's number one. Number two is Let God be your CEO. We talked about it yesterday, and we talked about the different ways that God could lead us. Let God be your CEO, not just of your life and minus your finances, but everything about you, including your finances. Let God lead you. Let God be the CEO of that business. Let God be your idea generator. Let God be the one to release the ideas to you. Don't try to run ahead of God. Don't try to cut corners and do things to get quick cash. Quick cash is great, but we're looking at sustainability. We're looking at the ability for us to be able to reproduce these things over and over again without losing sight of who God has called us, without having to compromise, where we can be billionaires yet humble, billionaires yet godly, billionaires yet good wives, billionaires yet good bosses, billionaires yet good people, God people, billionaires yet speak in tongues, billionaires yet hear God. And so we have to allow God to be our CEO. And number three, realize your worth. Realize your worth. The salary that you're being paid is not your worth. The current account money in your account is not your worth. The current things that you're seeing, that's not your worth. That's not your worth. That's not your worth. That is not your worth. Okay? Your worth is the ability for you to rightly appropriate yourself from the perspective of God. I don't want my sisters to settle anymore. I don't want you to see yourself as less than God has called you. I don't want you to diminish the very possibilities that God has in store for you. I don't want you to settle from less than the very things that God is revealed for you and God has opened up for you. I don't want you to struggle with God's opinion about you. I want you to see yourself the very way that God sees you, in the same mindset that God has pictured you, that God has framed you, and let your worth be designed by God. Let your worth be determined by God. Let your worth be seen by God. Know that you're worth more than a salary, you're worth more than a paycheck. I just feel like saying this over and over again. You're worth more than the 30K you're getting monthly. You're worth more than the no thank yous you get at the end of doing your best and putting in your all. You are worth so much more. You are worth so much more, and refuse to settle. Refuse to settle. Refuse to give in. Refuse to settle. Refuse to give in. Refuse to settle. Refuse to give in. You must allow God to determine your tangent, determine your perspective, determine how you see yourself, and know that God is not just going to give you wealth, but He's also going to give you health and wealth. He's going to cause you to not struggle. Remember, the blessings of the Lord makes rich and adds no sorrow. There's going to be no sorrow to the blessings that God has in store for you. And then, number next, I want you to think, love, create like God. Think, love, create like God. Think, love, create like God. Think, love, create by God. Think, love, create like God. We're not trying to create from the perspective of the fears that we have. We're not trying to create from the perspective of the concerns that we have. We're not trying to create like from the perspective of the the very things that scare us. We're not trying to create because we're looking for urgent 2K, urgent 10K. We're not trying to create because we just want to change our wardrobe, but we're creating from the place of creativity God's way. We're letting God lead us, we're letting God guide us, we're letting God direct us, we're letting God begin to order our steps, order our decisions, and order our lives really. And we are not going to settle. We're not going to settle. So, no matter what happens, no matter how unanswered our prayers begins to appear like they've been, we know that we can trust God. We're losing from that bondage of trying to create to just meet a specific need per time per need when there's no need. We're not innovating or ideating ahead. We're not creating ahead. And so God is inviting us to, create ahead, to begin to birth ahead, the very things that He wants to show us. Like many times, we're speaking based on our fears, we're behaving based on our fears. And God is inviting us to transcend from our fears into faith, transcend from our fears into believing God and saying, this is what God said, and I'm choosing to stand with God. I'm choosing to believe with God. I'm choosing to dream with God. I'm choosing to act with God. I'm choosing to to just allow God to become my anchor, allow God to become my guide, allow God to lead me, allow God to guide me, allow God to orchestrate situations and things in my favor. And I refuse to take no for an answer. And that's the posture that we should learn to take. That's the mindset we should come into. That's the understanding that we should begin to live by. We should not let our fears stop us. And I just want to add this, the power of thanksgiving for multiplication. If you're believing God for finances, one of the greatest ways to enjoy it is by thanksgiving. Intentionally worship God, intentionally spend time in just adoring God. Saturate your atmosphere. Saturate your atmosphere with pictures of belief, of possibilities, of just thanking God for the things that He's yet to do. Refuse to allow yourself to settle for less. Refuse to allow yourself to dream less. Refuse to allow yourself to yourself less. Like, this is the time that we now begin to dream God kind of dreams, God sized dreams, God sized dreams, God sized visions, God sized revelations, God sized faith. And we do it from the frequency of worship and thanksgiving and belief. Bishop Oyedepo's wife began to talk about how that he dances for 1 hour daily. Every day he comes before God with a dance. Every day he's dancing before his Father. He's not looking at his fears. He's not looking at the seemingly unanswered prayers. He's coming before his Father with a dance. He's coming before his Father thanksgiving. He's coming before his Father in hope that the very things that he said, he has the power to bring them to pass. And then not just thanksgiving, but what are you saying? What declarations are you making? What are you saturating your atmosphere with? We began to decree and we declare. We have this declaration that we made at the beginning of this year, that there is a mighty supply. And we began to speak those words. We have to speak the right words. What you're saying matters. The way you are saying it matters. The intensity you're saying it matters. I believe that there is a mighty supply. I can never be stranded financially. My projects are executed stresslessly, effortlessly. There's a mighty supply for me. Men rally around to partner with me. Men are on their feet, on their toes to partner with me. Men want to be a part of what God is doing in my space and in my life. Men want to participate in building the very things that God has committed in my hands. My business thrives and my business grows. Make declarations like this, and don't say things like this and then go out and begin to say things like, oh, there's SAPA, things are not working, I'm stuck, I'm this, I'm that. You don't mix up your confessions. Let your confessions be consistent. Let the very things that you're saying be consistent. All right. And then finally, learn to sow seeds. Man, guys, I gotta tell you, you have to sow seeds. You have to sow seeds. Learn to sow seeds. Learn to sow seeds. Learn to sow seeds. Robert said something, and that's what I live by. He said, I sow my seeds, I speak faith filled words, and I speak in tongues while thanking God for my harvest is with me. I sow my seeds, I speak faith filled words, I speak in tongues, and then I rejoice, I'm excited, I step into it with thanksgiving. Sow seed, sow seed, sow seed, sow seed. I know that it's been abused. I know that it's been crazy, but man, you gotta sow seeds. If I have a massive project coming my way, one of the things I do is I find somebody that is doing something similar and I sow into it. If the reason why I sow into it is not because I have all the money I need for my project, but I know that if God has helped them, He has the ability to help me too. What I'm saying is because, Lord, I'm putting myself in this person's shoe to ensure that they are not helpless. And so by participating, God is going to come through for me. And you don't just have to believe it, you have to live it, you have to act like it. Colonel Moyo, my spiritual grandfather, my father's father, said something. He said, you gotta sow seeds. You have to sow seeds. Never start a project until you've sown towards it. And don't use your mouth to kill your seeds. And this is why your mouth is just so powerful. Don't use your mouth to try to kill your seeds. Don't use your mouth to try to make yourself sound politically correct. And in the bid, begin to say wrongly the things that God has said in your favor. And so we have to be able to balance that. What God says versus what I believe, what God says versus what I'm seeing, what God says versus what I am saying too. I hope this has helped you. I hope this has blessed you. Your needs are met. And if you need the declarations of the mighty supply, just let us know and we'll get it right to you as well. Love you. Have a good day. Bye for now. Bye.